family, and welcome back to Life in Real Time with Tiffany K. What's new? So we are almost 2 weeks since I've cut my hair. Considering that I have to get up with a 2-year-old every single morning, this week, wash and go. Yes, that's what I did. But I'm going back to my hairstylist this week to get a wash and recurl. My hair is growing so much like in the back areas, and I'm honestly loving it. But that is not while I'm here. I promised y'all that I was going to tell you a story time of why I cut my hair, so let's get into it. I started my locks in August 2 years ago, during postpartum with my son, my 2-year-old son. Now, at the time, he was about 6 months when I started to lock my hair. If you've never been through postpartum before, you know that postpartum is a lot. I was a breastfeeding postpartum mom, so I didn't really have time for myself. So like my hair would just be all over my head, and that's just not me. So I was like, okay, boom, I'm gonna just lock my hair. That way I can have more time for myself and it'll just be easier. So I thought. So I locked my hair, went through the process, went through the winter wearing a scarf, whatever. And then a year in, I kind of was like, I don't really like how they are forming. I don't really like how they were starting to look on me, honestly. So I was like, I was already contemplating about cutting them a year in. So I was like, okay, boom, I'm gonna try coloring them. I colored them. I started to fall in love with them again. Then I came back to the same thing. Hey, I'm ready to cut my locks. My husband was like, well, you like at least give it 2 years, see it through for 2 years. I was like, okay, cool. So boom, seen it through for 2 years. My locks started to get longer. I tried styles over my locks, and the getting your hair done over your lock process is very difficult. So I was just annoyed, if I'm being completely honest. But the longer I kept them in, the longer I didn't feel like myself. I like to keep myself put together, for the most part. I like my hair done. I like my nails done. And like, if you know anything about locks, like technically you're not supposed to get your hair retwisted all the time because it will thin out your roots. And I just did not like the messy look. I didn't like the way that it made me feel. I didn't like nothing about it. Honestly, yeah, I just didn't feel pretty. Like, if you know me, I love pink. I'm a girl through and through. And I didn't feel like the locks made me feel that way unless I had them done or curled or something like that. But I couldn't really just keep doing that, honestly. So last Thursday I woke up, and at first I was gonna cut them myself, and I was like, nah, girl, you already started these locks. Go to somebody else and let them cut the locks off for you. So I combed, like, I started to comb at the root. I see how much length I had. But at that point, I ain't gonna even lie, y'all, I didn't care. She could have cut me bald and I wouldn't care. I'm just playing. I didn't want to be bald, but I just didn't feel pretty anymore. So I cut my locks. And the spiritual side of that, when she was cutting my locks, it seemed like so much was like falling off of me. All the lies that the enemy or I had convinced myself of were like falling off of me, and I felt so light, and I felt so happy. I felt like me again. I felt like I felt really pretty. I felt like that girl. And I've been feeling like that ever since. Like, this is the shortest I've ever been, but I love it. I love everything about it. Nobody could have convinced me to not cut it because I had already made up my mind. So in all of that, because you know me, I always have to have an encouraging message. This is to all my moms with toddlers. If you have 2 under 2, commend you, because baby, my 1 under 2 is enough. But I want to encourage you to keep going, and like, stop making the excuse that you can't make time for yourself. You have to demand time for yourself. My time for myself is like going to the gym when I get off work. I have 45 minutes to an hour of gym time, and my husband takes care of the kids. He gets them fed. He's really a team player. I think that plays a big part in it too. You have to make time for yourself. So if that's making sure that your kids get into bed by 8 o'clock so you can have some quiet time, do just that. I encourage all of my moms to Find time for yourself. Self-care is very important. You taking a nap, the house not gonna burn down if you go to sleep for an hour. I promise it'll be fine. You do not have to clean up every day. If that's what make your mind cycle, you go ahead and drive yourself in the ground. But you do not have to clean up every day. You are not perfect. Only person perfect is God, and you deserve to rest. So today, next Saturday, whatever day that you just be like, I ain't doing that today. Just tell yourself, convince yourself, I ain't doing it today. Okay, so I want to encourage all of you to live and be your authentic self, because that is the happiest place to be. And you are the key to your own happiness, and don't let no one dictate you from that. Okay, have a good one. Love you. Bye.